Extreme discipline makes you unrecognizable. That is what you are after. Most people live in a state of soft surrender, reacting to every whim, every notification, and every minor discomfort. But there is a version of you that is absolute, a version that has moved beyond the need for motivation and has entered the realm of Stoic invincibility. The ancient Stoics, from the Emperor Marcus Aurelius to the slave-turned-teacher Epictetus, built a system of psychological rings that transform a person from a victim of circumstance into a master of the soul. Today, we are taking the framework of the 5 rings: earth, water, fire, wind, and void, and applying the brutal logic of Stoicism to them. By the end of this journey, you won't just be productive. You will be so disciplined that people will call you crazy, because they cannot comprehend a mind that is no longer for sale to the highest bidder of comfort. Let us begin with the Earth Ring, which shows you exactly how far you have to go. Part 1. The Earth Ring. The Earth Ring represents the ground beneath your feet. It is the unvarnished physical reality of your life. In Stoicism, this is the objective view. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journals, "Clear your mind of all fantasies. Say to yourself, it is in my power to keep my soul free from all wickedness, all desire, and all disturbance." But before you can clear your mind, you must clear your schedule of lies. Most people live in a perpetual state of busyness that is actually a mask for cowardice. They tell themselves they are working hard because they feel tired at the end of the day. But exhaustion is not a metric of productivity. A hamster on a wheel is exhausted, but it hasn't gone anywhere. Consider someone who thinks they are productive. Let's call him Marcus. Marcus wants to be a writer, an entrepreneur, a leader. He wakes up at 7 a.m., but he doesn't leave the bed until 7:45. He tells himself he's staying informed or checking the markets, but he's actually just feeding a dopamine addiction. He spends his day in a flurry of emails, urgent messages, and open browser tabs. At night, he collapses, telling himself he is buried in work. The Stoic Earth Ring demands a log of reality. Marcus decided to track every single minute of his day for 1 week. He didn't use an app. He used a pen and paper. The results were a cold, clinical death blow to his ego. He discovered he had less than 40 minutes of true deep work, but over 6 hours of passive consumption on his phone. He discovered hours of context switching, the time lost jumping between tasks without finishing anything. The Earth Ring principle is this: know the smallest things to understand the biggest things. Seneca warned that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. You don't have a time problem, you have a focus problem. You don't need a new planner, you need an exorcism of your distractions. When you track your time with Stoic honesty, you realize you are not a victim of a packed schedule. You are a volunteer for mediocrity. You are choosing to spend 40 hours a week worshipping at the altar of a glowing screen while your dreams starve. This realization hurts. It should. If it doesn't hurt, you aren't looking at reality. You're looking at a fantasy. Discipline begins the moment you stop lying to yourself about how busy you are. Part 2. The Water Ring. Once the Earth Ring reveals the magnitude of your failure, your instinct will be to overcorrect. You will try to become a titan overnight. You see your wasted time and you vow to wake at 4 a.m., take ice baths, and work 14 hours straight. This is the rock mentality. You are trying to be hard and rigid, but when the rock hits the river of real life, an unexpected meeting, a sick child, or a bad night's sleep, the rock shatters. You fail your new routine by 9 a.m., and by noon, you've quit entirely. The Water Ring teaches the Stoic art of adaptation. Marcus Aurelius observed that the mind adapts and converts to its own purposes, the obstacle to our acting. Water is the most disciplined element in nature. It doesn't fight the mountain, it finds the crack. It doesn't scream at the dam. It flows around it or waits patiently until it can rise above it. Instead of the rock mentality, Marcus applied the water ring. He didn't try to wake up 4 hours earlier. He woke up 15 minutes earlier. Instead of a 2-hour workout, he did 10 push-ups. Instead of 8 hours of deep work, he committed to 25 minutes of focused writing with the internet turned off. At first, this felt soft. He felt like he wasn't doing enough. But by the end of week 2, he had completed 14 consecutive days of work without a single failure. The rock version of him would have failed on day 1. The water version was building a delta. Discipline is not about the heroic effort you make once every 6 months. It is about the unheroic effort you make every single day. Water adopts the shape of its receptacle. If your receptacle today is a chaotic day at the office, the water ring says, I cannot do an hour of meditation, but I can take 3 deep, stoic breaths before this meeting. You think you are different. You think you can skip the basics and go straight to the warrior phase. Even the emperor had to be taught how to write and how to sit. If you cannot master the 15-minute habit, you will never master the 15-hour day. Water doesn't break the stone by force. It wears it down by persistence. Be water. Flow around the obstacles of your own laziness. Part 3. The Fire Ring. You are a few weeks into your new discipline. You are waking up earlier. You are working out. You are seeing progress. But then, it happens. You see someone on social media who is younger than you and making 10 times your income. You see a colleague get promoted. You see a competitor winning without effort. The fire ring is where most people burn out. They see the success of others, and it ignites envy. They feel a heat in their chest that says, I'm too far behind, I'm pathetic, why bother? They let the fire consume them, and they go on a comfort binge because they feel they've already lost the race. In Stoicism, fire is the element of transmutation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, a blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. The Stoic doesn't try to extinguish the fire of anger or envy. They use it as fuel. When Marcus felt that sting of being behind, he didn't say, I'm pathetic. He said, I refuse to stay this way. He took the energy of his frustration and redirected it. He didn't aim the fire at himself. He aimed it at his mediocrity. Every night, Marcus started a new ritual. He would write down the things that made him angry about his own performance. If he was soft during a workout, he wrote it down. If he checked his phone during work, he wrote it down. Then he converted that productive rage into tomorrow's mission. Anger about 15 reps. Tomorrow's minimum is 20. Disgusted by phone checking. Tomorrow the phone is locked in a different room. Your emotions are not bad. They are raw energy. If you let them sit, they turn into a swamp of depression. If you ignite them and aim them at your weaknesses, they become an engine of evolution. A warrior uses the fire of his own discontent to forge a harder version of himself. Do not seek peace yet. Seek the fire that destroys your excuses. Part 4. The Wind Ring. 6 months in, you have achieved what most people consider peak discipline. You have the physique, the focus, and the results. Your friends start asking you for your secrets. You start to feel like a master. This is the most dangerous moment in a man's life. This is the arrogance trap. The wind ring represents the air that circulates. It represents the need to stay light, stay moving, and stay humble. Seneca warned that many people would have attained wisdom had they not imagined they had already attained it. Arrogance is the weight that pulls the warrior down. When you think you are disciplined enough, you stop doing the very things that made you disciplined in the first place. Marcus hit this wall. He stopped tracking his time. He stopped his morning reflections. He thought he didn't need the systems anymore. Within weeks, he was waking up late and his work was becoming shallow. He was falling, and he didn't even realize it because his ego was telling him he was a success. The wind ring requires you to study the higher level. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth, still went to school. He still sat at the feet of teachers. He never allowed his emperor status to blind him to his student status. The wind ring principle is this: find someone who makes your discipline look like a joke. Every month, seek out a new school of strategy. If you are a great lifter, go to a boxing gym and be the worst person in the room. If you are a great businessman, learn a difficult language where you are a beginner. This wind blows away the cobwebs of your ego. It reminds you that the way is infinite. Never let the person you were yesterday convince the person you are today that the work is finished. Part 5. The Void Ring. Finally, we enter the center of the rings. The void. This is where most people break. Months or years into your journey, you will hit a wall that isn't physical or emotional. It is existential. You will be standing in the kitchen at 5 a.m., looking at your workout gear, and a voice will whisper, "When does this get easier? Does it ever end?" The realization hits you. You will have to fight your laziness tomorrow and the day after, forever. There is no finish line where you get a trophy and then get to sleep in for the rest of your life. The void ring is the Stoic acceptance of this truth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept everything just the way it is, not the way you wish it was. And the reality is, discipline is war, and war never ends." Most people view discipline as a bridge. They think they will do the hard things now so they can have an easy life later. This is a lie. When they realize the bridge has no end, they jump off. But the Stoic in the void ring views discipline as the destination. Marcus had his breakthrough when he stopped asking when it gets easier and started asking what today's battle was. He realized he didn't work out to get a body. He worked out because warriors train. He didn't track his time to get a promotion. He tracked his time because leaders are precise. In the void, the struggle stops being a price you pay. It becomes the reward. You do the hard things not because they are easy, but because the fact that they are hard is what justifies your existence. You find a silent joy in the cold. You find satisfaction in the no you say to a distraction. The void is not empty. It is full of presence. You stop living for a future where you can be lazy, and you start living for a present where you are powerful. Discipline becomes like breathing. You don't struggle to breathe, you just breathe. You don't struggle to be disciplined, you are just you. The 5 rings are now complete. Earth provides the honesty to see your starting point. Water provides the flexibility to build habits that last. Fire provides the energy to turn envy into evolution. Wind provides the humility to keep growing. And void provides the acceptance to make it your eternal nature. People will call you crazy. They will ask why you still track your time. They will ask why you still train when you are already fit. They cannot understand you because they are still looking for a finish line. They are still trying to buy their way out of the human struggle. But you know better. You know that the struggle is the only thing that makes you real. You have moved beyond the soft world of reactions and entered the hard world of sovereignty. I want you to take the earth ring into your life right now. Do not plan to be disciplined. Do not wait for Monday. Track your next 24 hours, every minute. See the truth. Identify your water habit, one 5-minute task you can do today without fail. Find your fire. What are you disgusted by in your current life? Convert it into a mission for tomorrow morning. Observe how the air changes when you stop negotiating with yourself. You are no longer a passenger in your own life. You are the commander. Stoicism is not a philosophy of thinking. It is a philosophy of doing. The rings are waiting for you. The only question is, are you brave enough to look at the earth, or will you stay in the clouds of your own excuses? If you are ready to become unrecognizable, leave a comment with the word unshakable below. And if you want to keep building your internal citadel, subscribe to Stoic Spring. Stay still, stay wise, stay sovereign. I'll see you in the next video.